Hi, Greg. Welcome to From the Stage Door.
Hello, Rachel. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are yourself?
I'm really good, thank you. Thanks for inviting me here. I'm
You're
looking
welcome.
forward to this.
Let's crack on. So, first question: have you always had a passion for performing?
I did. When I grew up, I loved movies. I love a huge DVD collection. I love watching movies. I did play. I was social as a kid, but I liked coming in and my chill out time is definitely in front of a big TV, some snacks, a sugary drink of some sort. In later years, the sugary drink became of the alcoholic type.
Yeah.
But sitting there and just watching movies, I love movies. I love new and I love old movies, kind of thing. And yeah, I kind of didn't think I could do it at the time. I just watched it. But then after my college years, kind of thing, I sort of fell into the performing arts industry, and I've never looked back. Never looked back, and I loved every minute of it. And even in panto, when I didn't do it, I've lost track of how many pantos I've done, but every day is different. Even though it's a scripted and it's a show, and it's every scene is there's not one scene that we do will be the same as the scene that we did the previous show. Something will be different, and I love it. There's a lot of variety.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So what was your first professional job?
My first professional job ever was I was on a little thing called Peter Kay's Phoenix Nights.
Okay.
That was filmed in Bolton many moons ago. I just signed up with an agency. I signed up with a very famous little person agency called Willow Personal Management. I got their number from back in the day. There used to be a book called Contacts.
Oh yeah,
and it had all the casting agencies and stuff like that. And I got in touch with them. I was trying to do like the general ones as well, but I was on a performing arts course with some great lecturers, and they said because of my condition, because I've got dwarfism, achondroplasia, they said if you want to work, you need to be very general. You'll all get done for specific, pick for specific things.
Yeah.
In certain things at the time. So I found Willow, and they were advertising there. Peter there got in touch with me. He said like you need a head and shoulders shot, fill in the CV, do like all your stats and stuff, send it off. And yeah, I never looked seriously since. Right after that, and I think it was in weeks of doing that, I got Peter Kay's Phoenix Nights. And that was local, and that I've still got memorabilia. I've got a signed Bolton Wanderers top from that, and I was one of the only guys. We were all given the Bolton Wanderers. I'm sure many viewers will remember the scene kind of thing from the Peter Kay Phoenix Nights when there's 7 of us. Good old 7.
Always.
So that's good. That's always going to be a 7. Yeah, it's 7. And I've got how weird is this? I've got 7 sisters. In true, I've got 7 sisters in my life. Wow. So trust me, the number 7 is very prominent in my life.
Yeah.
But the 7 of us we're on a stag do, and we get off a minibus, and we tried to get into the club, and Peter Kay was dressed then as Max and Paddy, and Max and Paddy scene, and they wouldn't let us in the club. So if you YouTube it, trust me, you'll see it, and it's quite a famous scene. But I did that. But at the end of the day, it was filmed in an evening. We said, okay, we're wrapped. I took my top off, and my Bolton Wanderers top, which was supplied by the local JD Sports or JJB Sports and something. Sorry for the plug, but it was. And I went up to Peter, and he said, Peter, do you mind signing this for us? And he was like, oh, do you get to keep it? Like in a proper Bolton accent. Do you get to keep him? And I went, yeah. I just went with it. I wasn't like, and I went, yeah. Oh, nice one. And just as he finished signing mine, the wardrobe would go, no, what are you doing? He said everyone else had to take theirs off because they were returning them to the shops. And he looked at me, he go, oh, you little bugger, you. And I just thought, and I'm going, I didn't know. I thought we were getting to get. And she looked, the wardrobe woman looked at me like, I got to get. There's nothing that he'd signed it with a big marker and stuff. I'm sure it'd have washed out, but I mean, somebody paid for that top. I don't know who, but somebody paid for it. But whoever, if it was you that paid for that top, I'm very grateful. That T-shirt is framed. It's in my costume room at home, and it's my pride and pride. It's a very cherished item of mine. Yeah.
Cool.
And then Harry Potter's. That was the first Harry Potter. The thing where I've never really been around a lot of little people and stuff. I've not got my condition is not prone in my family. I've got all my brothers and sisters who are all average height and stuff like that. So, and I'm one of 10, and I'm the last one, and I'm the only little person. So yeah, trust me, it was a shock. I popped into the world kind of thing. But yeah, the first day when we went, Peter again phoned. He said, "Oh, I've got this thing called Harry Potter," and I didn't know what it was. You're probably going to go, "Really?" But I didn't.
Yeah.
Harry Potter came. He said, "There's a film coming." I said, "Oh, is it a casting?" He said, "No, you'll be on it. We need all of the little people in the industry that want to be. They'll be there." So I was like, "You just need to come for measurement fitting, stuff like that." And I wrote it down, Harry Potter, and I went back up. Well, I didn't give that information over at the college because I rang during college time kind of thing. But I went home and I went, "Oh yeah, I've got another cast. I've got to go down to London for this fitting and stuff." And it's all right. And what's it for? Looking at it, it's called Harry Potter, and literally all my nephews just went, "It's Harry Potter, yeah, the book." And I'm like, I've never heard of it. I wasn't at that age of that thing, but there you go. And they're making a movie, yeah. And I was in the first film, Philosopher's Stone. I was in the Gringotts Bank scene, and then I was in the. They got us all back pretty much in the very last one as well. The Deathly Hallows Part 2.
Yeah.
There's another Gringotts Bank scene, and I was in that as well, which was filmed probably about 10 years ago, kind of thing. So yeah, but trust me, that got me so many brownie points. But I didn't know how. When you think it doesn't ring, if you said like Stephen King and like the Shinings, I wasn't of that age. I was like The Shining and the Hobbit and stuff like that, and Lord of the Rings. But they said Harry Potter, and it was just when all the books were big, but they just decided to make a movie, the first movie, and we all know where that went. How things went with that. So
a little bit successful,
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
I might or might not have some mementos from that film.
We'll come to that afterwards. Let's have that one. Yeah. So who would you say was your greatest influence growing up?
My greatest influence. Well, it's going to sound very soppy. I've got idols in the acting and the entertainment industry. I've got that. But my greatest influence in terms of work ethic is my mum. And I don't want people to go boring and stuff like that, but she really is. She's she raised. We've got my dad's in world, but she raised 10 of us. She did it as a psychiatric nurse.
Okay.
Just she worked her ass off basically. She's got a great work ethic. She's retired now. She lives. She's gone back to retire, but she taught me, just if you want to go for something, just to go for it. I was worried that I wasn't very academic. I went on to do my GCSEs and stuff like that, and I wanted to be a vet when I was a kid.
Okay.
I love love animals kind of thing, and I wanted to be a vet, but just got out of my depth, and I wasn't very. And I had some little people who have issues at school kind of thing, and it affects your learning kind of thing, and your focus and stuff. So I didn't really apply myself as well as I wished I had. But that wasn't a slight on me or anything. It was just circumstances. So in another life, I could have gone on to carry on being a vet, and I could have had my own little practice, and that could have been. But then I wouldn't have gone off and done what I've done now. I believe that what happens in the path you take in life is for that reason, kind of thing. So I still take my mum's advice on matters these days, kind of thing. So my mum is my kind of the biggest influence in my life.
Cool. So what's the best piece of advice you've ever received?
It was from Matty, an actor and entertainer, again back in the day, and it's just to not take life too seriously. I know it's again another cliche, but don't take life too seriously.
Yeah.
And it's nothing to do with my condition or anything. I am quite a jovial person anyway, and I think I can do quite serious acting roles. But you're gonna meet because of the work, the kind of the work I do. You're gonna meet people that are not having most people, because there's alcohol involved. You're gonna meet people that are not having a great day. Usually it's a Friday and Saturday night that I work. It's at weddings or a club life, private party or a club night. And you're going to get somebody that's just had a very bad day, and they're going to bring it to the party with them. And they might be the nicest person, every other day. There might be a little. They've received bad news, and they're kind of being like expected to go to this wedding or this kid's party. So I don't judge them. I don't judge them in that moment. I give, if I don't gel with them, or that, I can't make them entertain them or make them smile or stuff like that, or apply them a drink, because help them have a merry night kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't go, I'm not very good at my job. And, I think I'm good at reading people as well. So I don't spend too much time with them, because people very quickly make it clear if they don't want little people around, if they don't want you there.
Yeah.
Especially, and they make it even clearly quicker when they've got alcohol in them.
Yeah.
They don't hold back, basically, which is fine. Yeah. We all do it. I'm saying, So I don't take myself too seriously, and I try to give people the respect. They might get up the next morning with a horrible hangover, remember how they were, and they may regret it, or or it might be the person they are, but that time is gone. That time has passed.
Yeah,
it's up to them to move on with their life. And like I say, at most jobs, after even a tough job, once I get in my car and I leave, that's it. Job's forgotten about. I really don't. I've had too many amazing jobs and too many tough or hard jobs just to remember them all, kind of thing, because it's not my place to just kind of judge that person. And so I'll leave. I don't take myself too seriously. I have a good laugh, even at family events. Everyone's like, because I am that family member. I'm that family, and I don't need any drink in me at all. I'm just that family, because you're here for one life.
Yeah,
and you've got to live it to the best of your abilities, but also and leave a lasting impression. I think just bring a bit of light into some people's lives that need it sometimes, and I do try to. Yeah, I do my very best to.
Cool. So, from your theatre performances, what is your favourite theatre, or which is your favourite theatre to perform in?
I've at the moment, I loved most recent was Birmingham, and I loved working in Birmingham. Beautiful theatre. I love the old style theatres. Birmingham being one of them. Before that, I was in Stevenage. A few years I was in Cardiff, and then Swansea. So I like the old flip seated, velvet. I love those theatres. But some theatres, and they're getting more modern now, some theatres and stuff like that. But because I've been there twice, and because it was my first theatre, first ever theatre that I worked in, and it just, because of how the panto was and the lasting, because it's like your first car that you learn to drive. It's just going to leave a lasting impression. And it was the Gaiety Theatre in Dublin. It was just something very special, very beautiful theatre. Still looks as beautiful. I was in it, like I said, a few years ago, and it still looks beautiful then. As they haven't ripped it open and modernized it, made it on. It's still something about it, and it's the velvet, even in the balconies and in the booth, and it's like you can lean over and you've got that. You just feel that 100,000 other arms of kids and soft drinks have dribbled on, and chewy sweets have been rubbed into. But it's just, if it's a cliche, if those seats could talk, if the shows that they've seen and stuff like that, and it's just a beautiful theatre. It's just something about it, and as I said, it's just good. I've been there twice, and the next time Snow White comes up again, or and I get a request if they want me to go there, I wouldn't think twice about going back there. Dublin's a beautiful city anyway. Very expensive place to go for a night out, I must say. Very expensive, but it's just the theatre was nice. Just had very special times there, and because it was my first panto. If it had been a tough one, it might have put me off the rest of my career, but it didn't. It's made a lasting impression on me, and I just, I loved every minute of it. So
cool. So when you're performing, do you suffer from nerves? And if you do, how do you deal with them?
I do suffer from butterflies and nerves on the first couple of shows, kind of thing. Even though we've rehearsed, and it doesn't matter if it's which production company it's with and what it's who it's with. It doesn't really matter. Everyone and who the seven with. I believe that if you don't suffer from nerves or butterflies, then you're not taking it too seriously. Maybe you're gonna get viewers going, well, that's not right. But that's my view and opinion on it. I believe if you're excited about it and you're nervous about it, it's a good thing. It'll just, you're going to put so much attention into it. And how do I deal with it? I try, I listen to music a lot. In my dressing room. There'll always be there'll always be a couple of sets of headphones and kind of thing. I'll leave them in the dressing room, kind of, but I'll just before, if I know there's a difficult scene coming up, or there's a scene that I'm not happy with, especially if it's a dance routine, because I've got 2 left feet like you won't believe. But if there's a dance routine coming up, I'll just, and some of the boys actually filmed me. They've got it's in our WhatsApp group from Birmingham, and I was just sat leaning on my chair. There's a mirror in front of me. I was in my workers, in my gold lovely caramel costume, and I was just leaning over, and I was just shuffling with my feet, doing the thing. And I didn't know I was doing it. I had the music on my head. I had the music from the show, from the routine. I was just working it out, stuff like that, and my feet were just shuffling on the spot. I was in my little area, just not. I wasn't moving around too much, but the boys were filming it. You could see them cackling, and I didn't realize it until they put it onto the group chat. And I was just like, but yeah, I just practice. If there's a difficult scene with the duologues and stuff going around as well. There's a lot of the stuff. Some of our scenes, there's a lot of it has to be quite quick fire stuff, because it is how we deliver our lines, and because there's 7 of us as well. We're all doing different bits. So it has to. It's not just like a duologue with 2 people like Snow White and the Prince, or the Queen and the henchman. 7 of us, and we can't. And as well, if I don't hear the person before me, if he doesn't finish, if he says just one word differently, sometimes it really throws me. I'm like, so that's why I've got to be prepared and stuff like that. But I just practice more, and I'll still be rattling the lines off just in my head just before we're going, while we're stood in the wings. And I've got a mic on, so I have to keep quiet. I'm just going. And a lot of the boys that have seen me, they're going, trying to confuse, throw me off and stuff like that. But they know what I'm doing. But they're all the same. But once we're first few shows, and then we're flying, and after that, and then we can sort of do our little we can relax and do different stuff for as long as we get the lines out. We can just all do it differently. But like I said before, if you're working with a great 7, and I've been very, very privileged to have been every time, it just flows. It just flows, and everyone's there to help you, and I'm part of the rest to help them as well. Nobody's ever out in this industry. I don't believe so anyway. In the acting industry, especially in panto, nobody's out to trip anyone up. You're part of a team. And if one of us trips up, it affects all 7. So nobody's out. And if anyone is struggling, we'll go off in the wings after that scene, because we might have another and we'll work through it. We won't just go off going, oh, like that. We'll sit there and we'll work through it, and we'll help the person that's struggling, even if it's like tongue twist. They're not delivering. Just go, slow it down. There's no rush, because it's really important. Because obviously we're delivering dialogue, and we've got to sell the story to an audience. It's not just to us, but we know the story. But there's 5 and 6-year-olds that this is their first show. Everyone knows what Snow White's about, but you've got to try and sell it to those kids out there, to make sure they come back every year to see the next panto, and then panto after that, and then in 25 years time, they come back with their kids, and they're sat on their laps, and they're selling, and they're there to do it. We're salespeople, and we have to bring the magic of the script to life, as the rest of the cast do. But I believe because it's Snow White, our role is very, very important. We can't. We're not. People go, "You're there because you're little." I've had people say that. No, we're really not. We've been many a time, and we come in from, sometimes in some shows, some productions, we come on from the audience. We come up from the backstage, from the auditorium, coming in that way, and we're sometimes there, and the scene just before us, and we open the door, and sometimes you can tell there's like a bit of a lull in the audience, because the audience are just going, "Where are they? It's been like 45 minutes. Where are they? They know, and they're waiting for us to come out." And as soon as they're high, or whatever version it is, literally, even the adults are sitting up in their seats, going, and they're like that, and they're just like, you can just feel an energy. And then we come on, and we turn around, we do our routine, finish it, and and then you look at the audience, and there's even 50, 60-year-olds with a big beaming grin on them, going, "This is what we've come to see."
Yeah.
And that's what it's about.
Yeah.
And that's why I love it.
Yeah. So, what would you say has been your most challenging role to date? Apart from the dance routines.
Yeah, apart from the dance routines. In the theatre side of things, I was 7 or 8 years ago, I was given the role of Skip, like the skipper or prof, in Swansea and then Cardiff, back in the day, and so he had the most lines. He had a singing part, and that was like the first time I'd done it. I'd done a couple of pantos before that, but I was never the main bit.
Yeah,
I was just offered it. I had to go on audition for it, and they gave it me, and I was hoping they wouldn't, but in a weird way. But they did. They offered it me, and it was just really nerve-wracking. I loved it. Did it. You know, it's like anything, when you hear yourself sing, you're like, ooh, stuff like that, and because it's not, when you're singing, it was like solo singing, then the other guys would pipe up doing their bit. But when you're hearing yourself sing, it's just like, at least when you sing them with the rest of them, you can kind of mask. The other guys can mask you, or you can all just do your bit. But it's very, and I wouldn't say I wouldn't do it again. It was just that was the first time. It was very nerve-wracking, but I did it, and I had fun, and that being the head dwarf basically in Snow White a few years ago. That was on in the pantomime side of thing. In other side of thing, my most challenging role. I did I just did a small budget, very low budget kind of thing, little thing that I sometimes it was called what's it called? It was Oompa Loompa breakup kind of thing.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And it was just a scene I did, but I was sent the script like a week before it kind of thing, but I just had this duologue with this a fantastic actress kind of thing, and we were in a cafe in London. And basically, I was breaking up with her. I was dressed in full Oompa Loompa gear, and there was other people in small. It was late. They filmed it through the night, basically.
Yeah.
They took over this cafe. It was, this cafe kind of thing. So they waited for it to close, and we all went in and did these scenes kind of thing. But it was just really nerve-wracking because it was proper. And it was this guy, this producer who'd written it. He was directing it, and it was his baby, basically.
Yeah.
It was brilliant. And now, like I said, every now and again I'll reshare it on my Facebook and stuff like that. As many moons ago, but it was just, I knew how much it meant to him, and I was really, and this actress I was working with was just, she was like off script. I had to sometimes look at the script. They cut it again, how they cut it, so I was able to just quickly go through my lines kind of thing. But it was because the nerves, but she was brilliant. Everyone else was brilliant in their bit, and I just knew I had to I had to give my A game. Not that I wasn't traveling there going, oh, but I just, when I got there and everyone was doing their bit, so my brain went, well, this isn't going to be easy. This is, you can't fluff this at all. You've really got to go for it. And I did it, and I'm proud of it. But that was like, even all the way through until they went and cut, that's the end of the scene. I was just like, but I loved it. And again, it's just, I'm still in the industry, so it mustn't have put me off. Yeah.
This is all right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, have you ever had any on-stage disasters?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh gosh, most recently when I was in Birmingham, and we did our scene, and our first scene to come on was on a really amazing little electric train.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. Well. It'd only been the second time that train had been used. It had been used in London. We played him. It built to order. It'd been specially made, beautiful, really lovely, big flashing lights. He carried all 7 of us on. We do the routine, and then I do a little bit, but I get off. I'm at the back. I get off, go to the front of it after everyone else has got off, and then I drive the train off.
Okay. And
then I come back on a little bit. Well, on this day. This show, I get on it, and for some reason I do it all in the steering was skew with a little bit. I'm not gonna say his name, but Head dwarf hadn't put the steer when he'd sort of turned the steering a little bit.
Yeah, I know who you mean.
Yeah. But so I got on and I started when you press. It's like a go. What do you call it? One of those go-karts. You just press and it just goes forward. Basically, you press on it and go, rev and go kind of thing. And it started to go off that way. And I've only got a little bit of a window before I'm off in the wings, and I've also got to get it off at a certain time because there's music playing, and I've got to get it back on. So everything has to be done in a certain length of time. And I was panicking, and I got it back anyway, but it was still going that while I was still turning it. And I got it off into the wings, and I drove it because I was rushing because my bit was coming up basically, and I had to be back on stage. And I drove. I'll tell you that, but I drove the train and I caught a bit of the quick change area because it's jet black. It'd been wood, it'd all been painted black, and it was dark because there was no change going on. So I turned the light off, and I drove into this area, and I scuffed the train, and it made a massive bang. You know, nothing was broken. It scuffed the plastics on the train a little bit, but nothing was broken. But it made an almighty bang. Everyone heard it. Everyone started cackling.
Yeah,
and it sort of threw the singing, the routine off as well. And I just come on proper red, proper sweating, proper panicking. And then I was there in time for my scene, and everyone knew. I didn't know what had happened, but you know, but I'm there trying to cover it and did my bit. Got back on time. We did our scene. I'm obviously red, sweating, panicking, but we got all our lines out. They didn't know what had happened as such until I wasn't able to tell them until we got off. But they knew something had happened. And then we got off. Thankfully, we all got off in one piece. We started laughing and stuff. And I said, I crashed the train. And I went back. Our next scene wasn't for a while, so I went back round the back of the stage to where I'd left the train. And they said it's fine. You know, it scuffed it and it'll rub out and it's fine. And then it somehow came up. I says, it'll be fine. It's £20,000 train. And I was just like, what? And they said, yeah, it's made to order. And the production company, the theatre people who brought it, he said, yeah, it's a £20,000 train. I was like, oh right, okay, thanks for that. And thank you. I would have preferred if they said nothing, but it's the fact that they planted that. Yeah, it's a really expensive bit of kit that you probably nearly broke. And I can't tell you the next show. I can't tell you how delicately I drove that. Yeah, and I was even practicing it in my head, but it happens. We all came out alive. We all laugh about it now, I think. Yeah, but we got there. Yeah.
And although that's quite funny now, what's been the funniest thing that's happened to you on stage?
What's been the funniest thing?
Yeah.
We've done a few. I don't know whether it was meant to happen a couple of times over the years, but some theatres let you do like a cauldron, you know, a fun show. It's usually at the end of the run, and we do some crazy things, this, that, and the other. And I think it was back in the day. I think it might have been in Tunbridge or High Wycombe when the Queen was doing a quick change and stuff, and she was in the cauldron. Two of us got into the cauldron because we weren't needed for a bit anyway. So we were in our workers as well. So how they didn't, you know, we stayed in it though, so the audience never saw us.
Yeah.
So because obviously you couldn't throw anything, and I won't tell you the Queen was, but anyway, she was, and we were just sat there and we were going like that. And it wasn't just me; there was another guy in there with me. And we stayed low, so like I said, there was all the smoke coming through stuff.
Yeah.
But she could definitely see us because she lost it a little bit. But she was a true pro, and she kept her nerve, kept it going.
Yeah.
But we were just in there going, and thankfully she never, you know, we didn't get in trouble as such because she managed to get from 8, you know, get through the scene and stuff like that. But yeah, that was, nobody else wanted to do it, and somebody mentioned it, and two of us just went, yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah.
And you sure you've got to be, and it could come with, you know, it could have repercussions. And they're going, I'll do it. Fine. You don't know me very well if you say stuff, you know, trust me, I'll do it. I have no problems. But yeah, we did it. We did it, and we did a panto the following year, so they mustn't have been too bad about it.
Yeah. Cool. I like that one. So, other than your Bolton shirt, are there any props or costumes from shows or projects that you've taken home?
Yes. I don't have them here with me because I'm at families, but I do have couple of items from the Harry Potter set.
Okay.
We were working in the bank, seeing the legend stuff. And because I think it might have been because I had the big claw, the mitts, the clawy gloves on, I couldn't let go of them properly. And they just, some of the coins and stuff that they used, and I think they just somehow got tangled up in my talons and they worked their way into my pocket.
Wow.
So it was, I didn't know that till I got home though, obviously. Yeah. But somehow a few of the coins made their way into my pocket.
Cool. These things happen,
Yeah, I know, right? At least I didn't put them on eBay. Not, they didn't go. I generally didn't. I know some people did that, but when I get something, I'm going to look after it and cherish it. And
totally.
Yeah. I don't do that stuff for gain. I do that stuff for just for mementos, basically.
Yeah.
So if I end up in prison after this gets aired, if the Warner Brothers people come after me, I know it's good.
Just hide them, it'll be fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
Hide it up.
Yeah,
it
was a joke. So it's April, right? It's not April Fool's. Oh, no.
Fair enough. What advice would you give to your younger self?
Ooh. Stay focused. In the past, back in the day, I did kind of lose focus a little bit, and I wish I hadn't, because a part of me wishes I know it's hindsight, and we all would love to have had hindsight. But if if I'd been in this industry sooner, I would have been in the likes of Willow, the movie, and Labyrinth and stuff like that. If I would have been like the babies, like a toddler kind of thing, or like very small. But certainly, I would have been in just as massive, mega, blockbusters and stuff like that. And it would have, because and the Star Wars as well. I work alongside, and I've recently worked alongside a guy that was, he was one of the original. He's in one of the Ewoks and stuff like that. He's still very strong. He's still in the industry, still going strong, and stuff like that. And I've been privileged as well to my second Panther that I ever did. I worked alongside one of the original Oompa Loompas from the Gene Wilder.
Wow.
So. Although, Willy Wonka was before, kind of when the years kind of before my time, so to speak. But I would love to have been in the industry a little bit sooner. But again, it's hindsight. It's nothing to do with my upbringing or anything like that. I grew up, I wanted to be a vet. I had no inkling of wanting to, thought I was going to do this kind of thing. But it's like I said earlier on, it's the best decision I ever made. I went on, just made the calls, got in touch with the local college, and they said, we do a performing arts course and stuff like that. It's a BTEC National Diploma in Performing Arts. It's a two-year course, and this, that, and the other. And there'll be singing elements, dancing elements, production elements, this, that, as people know. And it just made me respect and appreciate the craft, the arts, the crafts. Not just see it on the TVs and go, or go to the odd show. I was taught so much in those 2 years, and it taught me a lot about myself. That maybe if I didn't take that path, I wouldn't have known about myself, and maybe I certainly wouldn't be here, doing this now, kind of thing. Talking, I'm glad I got to where I'm glad I started when I did, but part of me wishes I started sooner. Just for the. Don't get me wrong, being in Harry Potter, the first Harry Potter and the Phoenix Nights for your first ever thing, those are pretty, those are pretty big thing, and I'm proud of them, and I'm not trying to take that away, but I would love to have just wish I'd started a little bit sooner, because it's like anything in your life, you can't get any of it back. And I want to, any films come up and stuff like that, I no matter what I'm doing, personally, I try and like get onto it, kind of try and say I want to be part of it, because it's just you've got one life and you've got to live it, kind of thing. Definitely. That's my goal.
Yeah, cool. I like that. So, what would be your dream role? Absolutely anything.
I have doubled for him actually, and name drop here, but I have doubled for Peter Dinklage.
Okay.
There was a British version of it. It was a movie called Death at a Funeral, and there was a British version of it directed by Frank Oz. Don't know if many people know Frank Oz, but he was directed by him. It was filmed in near Watford, kind of Leavesden Studios, I think it was. It's filmed over there again many moons ago. But I doubled for him and stuff. But I would love to work alongside him. I think a lot of people think, oh, Game of Thrones made him and stuff like that. People need to go and watch a film if they haven't already called The Station Agent.
Okay.
There's a film called The Station Agent. He's in it. There's other actors in it as well, 4 or 5 other actors, but it was made around him, and it's just an amazing movie. And he is truly a wonderful actor. And I'm not saying it because he's a little person. It's all camaraderie for little people. He's generally a fabulous actor.
Yeah.
He was a lovely guy to be around. I was around him a little bit because I was standing, but on a film set, you're on there for a bit, and then you step off, and then the actor comes in and does his bit, kind of thing. But I can't tell you how proud I was to be able to, like, because there was auditions for that, and I got picked. I was the right height, right build. Sadly, I've got the COVID paunch on at the moment, so not anymore. But I mean, I'm trying my best. But I was thinner back then. I was, but it was just that again, like with the Harry Potter and the Phoenix Nights, those things on my CV, I'm really proud of.
Yeah.
And I was just in the right place at the right time. People go, "Oh, you would have got that," and it was no. I was. It was a casting to be his double. Other people went for it, and I was just. And I wasn't there. There wasn't him, and they weren't putting everyone next to each other.
Yeah.
I went for the casting, and they looked at me. I had to, just because they knew what my height was and my age and stuff, and they saw me pictures before I even got there.
Yeah.
You had to do like little tests, bits and bobs, and they asked. Yeah, they said, yeah, we'll put you. And it's what can you do in life where you go, oh, I was double for Tyrion Lannister. I mean, you can't. It's a lot of quite bragging rights, but that I'm proud of, and I would love to be able to share, like, do a scene or a show, not a show, but like a film, something with him. I don't know how that would work, but I would love to, because I think he's a wonderful actor.
Yeah. Somebody needs to write it. So
yeah. Well, we'll see.
Cool. So, I mean, that might have been it, but what would you say is your most surreal moment?
Possibly that. I've worked. I'll go back quite a few years. Pantos that I've. Not my first queen, but the second queen that I've worked with in East Croydon, Tunbridge, and I think we did High Wycombe together as well, was Anita Dobson.
Okay.
Who used to be Angie in EastEnders.
Yeah.
I think she still does panto and stuff like that. She's a wonderful woman. I'm not really an EastEnders fan and stuff like that, but it sort of wasn't my thing. But I knew who she was. I knew how big a star she was.
Yeah.
Lovely person, and I'm not going to say you're going to say she's generally an amazing person. But some people, your viewers, might know that she's married to Brian May, the Queen.
Yeah.
And he came backstage a few times with one of his minders kind of thing. Amazing bloke. Again, Queen. I like listening to Queen, but I didn't. It wasn't. Yeah. It wasn't what I didn't grow up listening to it, but I do now, and I like Queen. And obviously the revamp of from the movie kind of brought them back into everyone's lives, kind of thing. But one of our days off, she said, she planned it before. She said, and she was two of us, me and a little guy from Belgium, during one of our days off. She said, "What are you guys doing tomorrow?" Which is our days off. And I said, "Nothing much. We're just going to stay in the digs at the." And she says, "Well, if you want, I've got 2 tickets for We Will Rock You." And I was like,
"Okay,
yeah." And we went. We got, and there were proper amazing seats, and we went to see We Will Rock You, and it was just. Have you seen We Will Rock You?
I worked on it when it was in London. I worked front of house on it. Yeah, just it's amazing.
It's absolutely amazing. And it was, I don't know but there's a scene where the stage comes up and she comes out over the audience, kind of thing. Yeah, and we were like right in there, and it's just brilliant. Everyone's singing was top notch. It blew us away. We were literally goosebumps all day, and we couldn't. We went out for a drink. Treated to her. She didn't want to, but we treated her to a meal and a drink and stuff. We just couldn't thank. I believe like stuff like that. I know, and people go, "Oh, she would have got them for nothing." And I'm going, "It's not the point. No. It's not stuff like that. You don't. She didn't need to do anything. She could have just gone. Guys got a day off. Enjoy." She gave us comps. We went and go and see the show, and we absolutely loved it. Yeah. And we did. We took her out for a meal the next day. And it's gone again. I've got people that go, "It's Anita Dobson. She's married to Brian May. I don't think you need to treat her for a meal." And I'm going, you do stuff like that out of gratitude and stuff like that. But it was, we saw that show and it was, and it had such an effect on me. It was amazing singing. And again, it gives you a love for the theatre even more.
Yeah.
And I just, and if you're watching Nita again, and Brian, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
I hope they're watching. I mean, who wouldn't, right?
Exactly. I feel they are.
Yeah, definitely. So, who would you most like to work with in the industry that you haven't done so already?
In the theatre industry, I mean, I know he's. I know I've heard good things about Lily Savage as a queen. I know he doesn't want to go back to it, but I would just if he did for 1 year.
Yeah,
I'll go and do a queen again. I'll be the evil queen. I would love to work with her.
Yeah.
Just I don't know. Just as I said, I'm nothing against the queens that I've worked for. Just something about, and there's no better thing. Well, that's a man dressed up as a woman.
Yeah.
Being the queen,
Yeah.
He's got to fool you twice, basically.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I mean that in a nice way. I don't mean that, but I just, and we saw him. I saw him in London at when we were doing Birmingham. We got invited to the press night for the greatest show kind of thing, and it was just he was amazing.
Yeah.
And I'd love to, because I've known him for when he did his early shows, and I've known him from his alter ego, and I've just loved work with Lily Savage as a queen. So that's in the theatre.
Okay.
In the acting kind of TV and acting, my idol is I've got acting idols that have sadly passed on, that are no longer with us, but the living idols. I'd love to work with. I'd love to just be around in his presence of Robert De Niro or Al Pacino.
Yeah.
I'll just live. If he literally just walked past me in the bathroom on his way to his table, I'd just be like, okay, I'm done. I can check out now. I'm all good. But they are my.
Yeah.
I've got other acting idols, who sadly passed on. But I mean, they're the living ones that I just think they're at the top of the game. They have been for years and years and years. Yeah. And I would just love to share a scene with them, even if it was a walk on. Just an extra. Dude, you just walk past me. Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah,
that's cool. Yeah, I like that. Right, quick fire round to finish off.
Yep.
So, tea or coffee?
Tea. A big tea drinker.
Sun or rain?
Sun.
Cats or dogs?
I've got a cat. I miss having a dog, but I have a cat, and she did. Okay. Yeah, cats are just more independent, but I love my cat.
Yeah, true. Sweet or savoury?
Sweet.
Comedy or tragedy?
Comedy.
Musical or play?
Musical.
Meat or veg?
Meat.
Hugs or kisses?
Hugs.
It's a hard one, that, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Night out or night in?
Night in.
Tour or West End run?
West End run, I think.
Cool. Favourite film?
Oh, it's Shawshank Redemption.
Good choice. I like that one. Favourite book?
The Hobbit.
Okay. And last one, ultimate comfort food?
Chocolate. Okay. I love twirl chocolate. But I'll probably be buried with a load of twirl chocolates in my coffee. I love twirl. That's my go-to. Them and a massive big packet of beef hoops. I can just sit there. I'll be a happy bunny just eating them. Beef hoops, twirls.
Done. Cool. Yep. Brilliant. Thank you for joining me, Greg. It's been lovely chatting to you.
Thank you.
And hopefully I will see you at a theatre soon.
Touch wood. Thank you.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.